Okay, let me start the recording right now. Okay guys, good morning to all of you. Once again, today is the 29th of June, Super Tuesday. All right, so later on at 2 p.m., we will have our Super Tuesday for about 45 minutes. Then after that, 3 p.m., Susan will go live. Okay, so that is the itinerary for all our TWB members. Now, this morning, if you are serious in looking at equity market to take a position on the sell side, you need to really hang on to watch my MAO second half. The second half will be telling you a lot of stuff that you need to pay attention to regarding about the financial sector. Now, on the other side, if you are under gold, then maybe you should look at the part whereby a lot of gold, when it would be a good time to buy, because I believe that the buying reason is around the corner. Okay, so there's this two part for today's MAO, the main highlight. Okay, all right. Once again, good morning to you. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. All right, let's just start now by sharing my screen live. Okay, hold on a minute. Let's go. Okay, lift it up. Okay, all right. 29th of June, 2021, Tuesday. Now, this is how Facebook looks like at the very, very beginning stage. Okay, this is how Facebook looks like. You know, very simple design, simple wording. You need to put your email, your password. And back then, it was in 2004 when Facebook came out. Now, think about this. If you have a business idea 17 years ago, and now this idea now has blossomed from your so-called your dormitory, and now it's actually as a $1 trillion value company. Oh my goodness. And think about this, it's just about how many years? Less than 20 years. All right. Some companies work all their lifetime, they can't even go to the billion mark. And this company now is worth $1 trillion US. Okay. So let's look at this bit of history of this Facebook, all right, shall we? Now, Facebook basically closes above $1 trillion market cap for the first time. Yes, for the first time. All right, because it was due to a favorable legal ruling that dismissed an antitrust complaint brought by the FTC. So the question is this, FTC brought in this complaint and yet the court can rule a favorable ruling. So this is kind of quite interesting, you know. You know, and end of the day is that this social media company now is the 5th US company to hit the milestone, joining Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google parent company Alphabet. So basically the top 5 are all in right now. Oh my God. So the question is this, when will be Tesla? Okay. All right. So this is what happened on the Facebook. So the share price went up by 4.2% to $355. All right, it seems that right, no matter what they be, and of course, this tells you that okay, they are still going to scale higher. Initially, when it started in 2012, the debut, all right, it was only $104 billion. Now it's basically 10 times. All right, so the thing is this, don't we remember that right back then we have a colossal drop of 19% in 2018 after they posted very disappointing revenue and user figure. Then after that, there was scandal like data leaks, fake news, and most notably the Cambridge Analytica scandal, right? All these were very bad, and usually that would send this type of data company down all the way. But for some reason, okay, Facebook rebounded, grew its database, and now the share price is up by 90% since 2018. But of course, if you really ask me, the only reason is because we saw the most important thing, and that is the pumping of the money into the market, right? Which means that Federal Reserve pumping all the necessary money into the system, and that is the real driver. But nonetheless, it's right. Facebook to me is still going to go higher. I believe that the next time, if there's going to be any significant pullback again, it will be one of the counters to buy and keep for a long time. All right. So that's my personal take on Facebook. So this is how Facebook looks like. Remember this? Wow, this is how it looks like in the very, very beginning. Look at it. You put your own picture, you put your interest, your stuff, and you put it there. And of course, the cool part is that you can see each other beta. This is what happened back then. Really, this is a long time ago. How it looks like. And of course, this is where it slowly progressed to like this now in 2013. This is how it looks like. Okay, the new look around. And of course, today it looked like this. So you can see that Facebook keep on moving, and that's why in technology, you cannot stay on forever the same thing. All right, you must keep on moving with time, and you must go and make your so-called user happy. That's why we keep on improving. Even for TWB, we keep on improving, so that we know that we keep in touch with you guys. So that is how a company from the very beginning to today. Kind of cool, right? All right. So the thing is this: before we start this morning MAO, once again, do note everything disclaimer as usual. All right. Do understand this. Anything is possible. And plus today's my sharing will be highlighting on gold and the US equity market. I really want you to understand, if you're going to get embarked into this journey, do note there is a possibility of losing money. And of course, it could be substantial. All right. So if you're okay with whatever I share and you accepted the above disclaimer, that means you indemnified me. All right. Thank you very much. Continue. Now, this is a very, very cute cartoon where I saw this inflation cannonball really taking the plunge. And obviously, Federal Reserve is like, oh my goodness. Now, the question is this. Federal Reserve keep on saying that they can handle the inflation. But the only question is can they really do that? All right. So if the inflation is going to hit them, and if Federal Reserve cannot handle this, what will likely be happening? So, of course, when I say that itself, right, it's kind of difficult because I'm nobody at the moment right now. So by telling you that there's inflation, it's kind of hard to absorb, right? So, but this guy, El-Erian, right, this is the guy, he is an analyst, and he says that, right, the Federal Reserve is behind on inflation and risks another recession if it forced to catch up. Now, I already said that we are behind the curve back then. And again, not many people take my word for serious, but it doesn't matter. So now this guy, he is now sharing this. He's telling you that now it's very clear that the evidence is not, the evidence of the inflation is still going to be transitory, and he has concern that the Federal Reserve is falling behind. Okay, so the thing is this, the only thing we will know clearly will be in August, whereby when they do the Jackson Hole meeting. Now that as well will be the point whereby they will have to be very open. And I believe that is where things will really get very, very dicey. All right. So this is the guy, the analyst. So he's saying he's very concerned. All right. He believes that this is going to be a big problem. And normally we end up with recession because you have to slam on the brakes as opposed to slowly taking your foot off the accelerator. Okay. So he's saying that right now this is going to be a problem. And of course, he believes that this is going to be causing the market to go into profit taking in very soon. All right. So this is the guy who's saying that. Now remember, I gave you this chart a couple of days ago, and I told you that if the chart stays above the trend line, then okay, we may see a higher upside, right? But the interesting thing is this, it happened the day before, so it looks like all okay. But yesterday, we saw it coming back down again. So this is not a very good sign. And of course, if it stays down, then the downside could be further down to test again the previous low, which is about 33,200 area. All right. So traders, you need to be very careful on that. So before we start this, all the sharing, I want you guys to be, to get the quote of the day from all the good traders. All right. Okay, if most markets will learn to sit on their hands, 50% of the time, they will make a lot of money. So this is a very good quote from Bill. He's saying that if most traders will learn to sit on their hands, I mean that they do not take profit too early, they will make more money, right? The best traders know that patience is the key to making successful trades. Don't trade too often and avoid over trading. I think that is a very good statement. And I've been telling people this, don't need to trade every time. Wait for a very good trade. Wait for the setup to be in line with whatever you're seeing, then you trade. All right. Yes, indeed, calling weekly chart is kind of good for those people who want to see for longer haul. Okay. All right, so that is why I'm going to bring you this, because I want to tell you guys that you need to watch the market very closely, because coming few weeks itself, right, I kind of suspect that there'll be a lot of volatility coming in, especially for this week. So let me just look at the reason to be staying bullish for now. But before that, let's look at the financial market now, because the Hang Seng is going to open up pretty soon. Okay, so at the moment now, Dow is trading a bit lower. It's touching the MA30. I'll come back to this later. NASDAQ is also trading a bit lower now. It's actually below the 14,500 mark. So there could be some profit taking today. S&P 500 now is also trading below the MLP. So it doesn't seem to be look good today. All right, now Hang Seng is going to open up in a few moments time. All right, and the MA30 is somewhere here, 28,833. The MA200 is right at the bottom, 28,387. So we are still pretty far away, so there's no concern. Now China A50, let's take a look now. Oh no, China A50 this morning has gapped down and is actually trading lower. This is not a very healthy sign. So now we can see that the MA30 and the MA200 is seemingly like converging, going to converge into that. And of course, if the market is doing this, is below MA200 and MA30, actually is pretty bearish. So that means that there is a potential to see some selling later today. All right, it means that there should be some selling today on the China A50. All right, Hong Kong is going to open up very, very soon. So we're going to need to watch out for the market. All right, Hong Kong, let's stand by for the Hong Kong trade. Now, do note the Dow Jones today opening price is below pivot 2. So by right, below pivot 2, below OP is a sell, and the KSI is red. So overall, it's a sell on many, many reasons. Okay, so Hang Seng is going to start trading very soon. Let's take a look right now. Okay, Hang Seng has now opened. It's opened pretty flat. Yesterday closed at 29,252. Now its opening price is 29,247. Now for the Dow Jones, it's down, but the NASDAQ was up. It's kind of flat at the moment right now, but at the moment, look at it. The Hang Seng is now trading below OP. KSI is green. So pretty simple. Let me look at it again. So opening price is here between the two pivots. So because the KSI is green in color, so if it goes down, maybe KTR -1 to KTR -3, there should be some support over there. Now, unless it goes below pivot 2, which is 29,123, then there'll be more selling to come. Okay, there'll be more selling to come. All right, but of course, if the market goes up, right, it should be easily going out to KTR +1 because the KSI is green at the moment. Okay, so there's something to take a note for. But because now we can see that in general, the the China market is actually trading a bit lower right now. So that is probably the reason why the Hong Kong is coming off. Okay, we'll come back to Hong Kong later today. Okay, let's continue to move on to what we need to share today. Hold on, let me just, yes, again, as usual, my phone is ringing. There are lots of messages coming in and stuff like that. Okay, one moment. Okay, done. Okay, all right, so let's continue. Now, first of all, what are the reasons for buying? Why are the reasons to stay bullish, right? Now, first of all, we can continue to see that from Friday spill over to Monday, it is still happening. The panic buy on growth. That means that any growth counter is a panic buy at the moment while they sell value counters. That means that value counters, okay? Because bond yields keep on coming down. So traders are saying that, okay, look, there's nothing better to buy right now. Let's buy into the growth. Now, there's something that I want to share with you on the flip side though. Although growth is a good sector to buy because you're predicting what will happen in the future. But do you know that actually when they're doing this to sell, right, they are selling basically value is equivalent usually the financial stocks. And if you remember this, right, in all occasion the last many, many years, whenever the financial sectors get to go out first, that is actually a problem to the financial market. Stock market and whole. You understand my point? You see, it's basically like a smoke screen. Is that they are basically telling you, oh, let's buy FANGs, buy technology shares and stuff like that, right? But the problem is, right, the growth stock is actually, the value stock is actually being liquidated quietly, you understand? So this is actually not very healthy. And of course, we all know that the boys basically will rather, exit their bigger holding, which is actually on these value counters. And do understand one of the things is that the Federal Reserve have already given the banks the right to buy back their shares. But very surprisingly itself, right, the banks are not doing that. And that is something very questionable. And that is the reason why I'm kind of very worried as we go along. All right. So this is what I'm seeing right now. So of course, if you concentrate on buying the growth counters, you should be fine. But the value counters, right, my personal opinion is go slow on this right now. Now, of course, you can see that the reason why there's so much money in the market, you can look at the total IPO and SEO combined, look at it, oh my goodness. This is like the last 22 years, this is really crazy numbers, and the amount is really, well, breaking the chart, okay? So that is the reason why there's so much money in the market. That is the reason why the market is still kind of bullish at the moment. And of course, look at the counters, look at it in terms of valuation, right? Now, obviously, Apple now is more than $2 trillion. We have this is Microsoft, and of course we have Amazon, and we have Alphabet. All right, all of them is at a way $1.5 trillion and above. So for Facebook, we just basically just climb above the 1 trillion mark. This is like, you know, joining the big boys, okay? But all these things, you add in together, all the trillions, right, you can almost see that, right? It's all the $4 to $5 trillion that Federal Reserve had pumped in that probably went into them in a way. So of course, if later on, shall there be any form of tapering, right, these few companies will also be taking the plunge, right? I believe that. So that's why if you want to stick, if you believe that the Federal Reserve can put in more money, then these few companies will likely have the more further upside. So any significant pullback from the counters, you can go for buying if you want to do that. Now, of course, the 10-year yields really couldn't go any higher for the last how many days? 10 days. The yields have been staying about 1.45% to 1.5%. Okay, initially there was some, there was some movement because of the data, but after the data came out, right, they just pull it back. This is very clearly that the bonds are still being bought, and I told you guys, the Federal Reserve is still buying the $120 billion bond treasuries from the market. So as long as the Federal Reserve is still doing that, it's kind of almost near zero chance for the yield to go any higher. The only thing that you can take note is that although they've been buying the treasuries, right, but the yields the last 6-7 days couldn't go down below 1.45%. So of course, on the flip side, that means that the market is actually still very worried. But they are not going to go more, but they definitely know that, right, there's something that is a support at the moment now at 1.45%. And of course, Bitcoin rebounded with everything. Bitcoin yesterday, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all rebounded strongly. All right. And of course, why is that so? Because there is some saying that, right, there's some expectation that the crypto is still going to be accepted by many people. And of course, I told you before, right, if China is the one that's going to basically reduce the mining, what will happen likely is that other countries will be even happier to buy into Bitcoin. So apparently this is what is happening right now. And when Bitcoin goes up, it will help many companies. Example like this company, right, MSTR, right? MSTR is who? Yeah, MicroStrategy, right? MicroStrategy shares basically went up yesterday by 16.6%. All right, think about this, the last 5 days, up by $89. So you can see that this is the point. So Bitcoin goes up, big company like MSTR who have been buying a lot will definitely benefit. So of course, it's vice versa. If later on, if the Bitcoin is to come down, then all these companies like MSTR, SQ, Tesla, PayPal, Coinbase, all of them will come down again. So, but at the moment, if you're a believer of that, you think that cryptocurrency can go trading higher, then of course, all these counters should be in your portfolio because they will definitely benefit of it. All right. So this is why I say these are the reasons for you to buy. Okay. Now, this is the one that really quite incredible. Look at lumber price. Now, lumber basically in March shoot up all the way from about 800, went all the way to 1,007. So you see from this point here, it was at only 800, right? It shot all the way to 1,007. All right. So obviously 1,006, 1,650, I think. Okay. So what happened is that then after that is times 2, right? It went all the way up. Then when it came back down, right? It came back not only lower than the March period, it's also lower than the start of the year itself. So the thing is this, has two prongs on it. One, it's a good time to buy lumber because if you expect the economy to do well again, lumber price may go up again. That's the reason for buying. On a flip note, right, the question is why it came down. Is it because the inflation is no longer in place? That's why this is telling you that, hey, maybe Federal Reserve is correct. There's no more inflation. Okay, so it's a positive news. You can buy into the equity market. Or actually tells you that maybe you must be careful because that there's no more demand for housing. Hence, therefore, prices fall. So there is many reasons to see many different permutations to look at this lumber prices. But if you are a buyer, then you know that maybe you can buy it cheap, or you may want to go a bit slower. Okay, all right. So that is how I see for the lumber futures price. All right, so people who want to buy lumber can consider doing now because it's kind of cheap right now. Oops, sorry. This is the one about the gold, and this one I want you guys to pay attention to. It's going to be very, very important. Just give me a minute. Okay, I think there's some PowerPoint issue. Moment. Okay, now this is the gold and silver minus Philadelphia Stock Exchange for Gold and Silver Index. Now, what I'm trying to see is that every time when the index goes down, right, it's because the gold index, the RSI, also goes down, and that hits about 9. Now, the thing is, this is the gold and silver minus. Now, I want you to watch it here itself, everybody. Look at it. All right, whenever it hits this point, when it goes below around 19 and lesser, okay, you can see this here. Okay, this is the angle that I'm showing to you. All right, so what I did was that pretty simple. I noticed that whenever the index, okay, comes down, all right, and bottom out with this RSI 9 hitting around this area here, about between 19 to 15 level. Now, whenever it hit there, the gold price will, the gold and silver index will so-called bottom out a bit, and then afterwards, usually it will cause the market to go higher, which is gold. And if you look at it right now, you compare notes, take a look right now. See, take a look. I realized that, look, okay, you see that? This is the time in 2018, and you can see in 2018, the market took about probably this is weekly chart, by the way. So it took about probably 4 weeks to 5 weeks for it to bottom out. Then it goes up quite a fair bit, right? Okay, then after that, another indication come in back in 2019. That was about nearly April period or May. The market took about 2 weeks of consolidation, and then bang, it went all the way. Then after that, back in this early, late February, March period, you can see that in 2020, we saw that gold plunge all the way down from the 1680 plus level, went down to 114, down $200. But after that, the market stabilized, and of course, it went all the way up to new all-time high. So now, apparently, if you look carefully with the screen and the chart, okay, if we put comparison, all right, we are now again at the RSI 9 at the common point. The last time we see a bounce. And because of that itself, right, that means that we could be actually looking at a potential buy in the coming few weeks' time. Okay, so you see my point? So that's the reason why we are very interested to go into gold trading, because we see that there is a very good chance of a good potential upside on gold in the coming weeks. Okay, so that is my personal view on gold in the coming weeks, and you guys may want to look at it and see to whether you want to be involved in and make money out of this gold trading. Okay, so this is the gold and silver miners, and of course the gold in terms of prices. Okay, cool. All right, so that is all the reason for you to look into buying the market and also buy into gold. All right, so I'm going to skip this for update. Now, Susan Go Live have increased more and more students coming on board, because there is really great incentive for them, because Susan will basically tell you what to do. And of course, she trade live, and this is all live trading with all numbers, stop loss, all that. It's a very good time for you to practice what you know, and because she do it in daytime and she do it at night also, definitely it's more than enough time for you to revise. And of course, you can play back through Facebook and then watch what she share, and you learn from there. Okay, so guys, really, if you want to improve your trading of your TWB system, right, this is the best time to do it, because morning MAO is more for macro picture, global stuff, and of course we'll talk about some of the technical. But if you talk about really live trading, what is your thinking in the moment now, how you buy and sell, this is a great time for you to learn. Okay, that's the reason why. And of course, you see that the daily commentaries, meaning all the talks, the sharing is quite a lot. Look at it, it's 163 comments. That means a lot of people participating on this. Okay, all right, so join Susan on Go Live, okay, every day, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the day session. For the night session, it will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay? All right. Okay, now let's look at the local and global news right now. There's so much information to share with you. All right. So local news seems to be good. We have only 4 new COVID cases, community cases, right? That is a very good sign. So I was there thinking that, hey, not bad, we're going to go down, and if we cannot go down, right, we're going to have more, we can available to have dining outside with more people, right? That's what I'm actually looking up for. All right, but apparently now the COVID Delta variant in UK has exploded, and it could be a blueprint for the US. Now look at the UK cases. Really, every day the number is increasing. I think yesterday I saw Colin, he shared, right, it's about 22,000 or 20,000 people got this virus. So it's kind of scary, and obviously look at the moving average. It's pretty clear that it seems to be following very well. Then of course, Indonesia just hit a record of 21,000 daily virus infection. Now, honestly, this is actually very, very sad, because I have friends in Indonesia yesterday. I mean, they just posted them, driving out of the city. I thought they said they're running out from the COVID. I thought it was just bluffing me. But when my friend texted me saying, no, Cal, this is very serious in Surabaya. Wow, every day you see ambulance coming to their hometown and then picking people away, right? They get frightened, actually very detrimental. So seriously, it seems to be that the whole world is having this problem. And of course, Singapore is still very well protected. So thank God to our Singapore government, who have been doing a great job here, but we still need to play it safe, okay? Because a small country like us, if we got hit, we're going to spread very fast. All right, indeed. All right, hey, good morning to you, Kai. That's so early of you. It's 9:30 a.m. But there's no color change on the go right now. So yeah, nothing much you can look out for. Good morning to you, by the way. All right. Now, Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, get banned by UK regulator. Now, before you get your panic button pressed on, read through the whole article, because the caption and the real body, it doesn't really match, okay? So what happened is that FCA of UK basically says that it's not permitted to undertake any regulated activity in UK. All right, so the thing is this, it seems like UK is like, UK banned Binance, right? But you look carefully, it is actually onto a certain part of Binance, not the entire. So there is a statement from Binance, from FCA to Binance. Indeed, there is one, because there seems to be the FCA felt that, right, this Binance did not meet the criteria for anti-money laundering requirement. And of course, but the thing is this, is still limited, right? Because though Binance Market Limited is banned from offering regulated services in Britain, non-registered firm can still interact with UK consumer. That means that Binance can still offer Brits crypto trading through its website. So it's a different entity. So kind of like, that's the reason why you don't see a big sell-off in anything, but in fact, people are still buying. So do note, okay, this is not really what it meant. Okay, but still, there is a worry of the way Binance run the show. And of course, it seems to be that there's some form of money laundering going on. Now, on this side, while we have Cathie Wood, all right, Cathie Wood is now going to do this. Cathie Wood ARK Invest is going to file for a BTC ETF. Wow, okay. So she's going to do that ETF. And the thing is this, right? Because the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is a top 10 holding in ARK next generation internet ETF. So Wood, she's very bullish in Bitcoin. So she felt that, right, if basically to invest the S&P, right, you may not make as much as the crypto market. So that's the reason why she felt that, right, it's a good time to actually have this ETF while the price is kind of cheap right now. So of course, recently, because of the technology shares recovery and of course buying on certain counters, this ARK Innovation shares have climbed up again. So traders, all I can tell you is this, if Cathie would really do that, that would be pretty good for crypto in the long haul. All right, because people like her, she leads it. Of course, she must know what she's doing now. Okay, so that is what happened in the global news in the market. Okay. All right, and of course, I told you guys the reason why many people are not going to work, because day trading in America has grew popular. And what are the reasons for doing that? Well, first of all, okay, the main motivation is that they want to make more money in a shorter period of time. I think that is the main driver. And of course, they also believe that, right, this is going to be safer for them rather than go to work and get caught by the virus. caught the virus and they may not stay at home and do their so-called work. All right, and I say that for fun and entertainment, and some because they feel that this is like a social media, they feel empowered lah. So of course, I think basically all the TWB students who are doing this because we want to make money to have a better lifestyle. All right, so you can see that 58% of them are trying to make money quicker, and we have fun entertainment, new resources, and so forth. And a few are missing out. It's only 19%. Now this is based on 1,500 correspondent. All right. So in short, basically the so-called this day trader, they are pressured to find a quick source of income due to job loss or basically can't find a job. And as long as there's money, the market is still doing well overall, it should be okay. But and on the same time, right, some of the financial experts are saying that right, this is kind of dangerous. The retailers doesn't know, they should be very careful. But my question is this: then the financial advisors, expert, are they doing very well on their own? This is my question mark. So that is why this area is pretty gray lah. So you just have to take this with a pinch of salt. Of course, if you're doing already day trading full time, then continue. I'm sure you the TWB system, you should be doing well. Now, of course, today we have you see the consumer confidence data, and then tomorrow we have the ADP numbers already. So this week going to be a very big week. We need to be very careful on that. And of course, Dow Jones yesterday, once it opens, really, all right, went all the way flat for 50, 60 points. And of course, basically there was nothing much to do because it was pretty clear that the Dow is not going to come down. There's too much so much boys involved in the game. So what happened last night? Let's do a recap. S&P 500 rises, NASDAQ rises, right? Because like example, by Facebook. So overall, but Dow Jones came down by 150 points. It was even down lower before there's some buying up. So first, obviously, is that the dismissal of the antitrust case by this on Facebook that bring up the share higher. But more importantly, it's a bipartisan infrastructure between Joe Biden and the so-called people or Republicans are the main driver that basically gave people confidence that business will continue and economy will grow. But again, like I say, at the moment now, we're kind of seeing that we are near the capacity level, right? So of course, we have other data like the non-farm payroll this coming Friday and ADP. So all these things is going to be affecting the market, all right? For the news side, nothing much have seen other than there's some worry on the COVID, but still overall, it seems to be that the technology is still in favor. And of course, as long as the market is putting a lot of money to the tech shares should be going higher. All right, whether COVID will shake up the people, well, we will know when the news starts to present itself and tell us what to do and what not to do. Okay, so that is what happened on the market front. Okay, just give me a sec. Okay, right. So all clear on this? Okay, so let's us do at the Dow Jones and recap what happened yesterday. Now the Dow Jones yesterday opens here, and I already tell you guys that once it opens, the KSI is red in color. If the market loses MLP, there should be some selling. I already tell you that. And truth be told, the market really come down and went below the P2 mark. So below P2, below OP, definitely is a sell. So minimally KTR -1, if not as much as KTR -3. All right, I already told you guys about this. So for anyone who made money from Dow yesterday, from shorting the Dow, if yes, key the word Dow, D-O-W. I'll take some water. And of course, based on what happened now, the Dow has created a BMB today. So it means that, right, the high and the low will be the very important level to watch out for further upside, further downside, all right? So yesterday, only Eddie made money from the Dow Jones. How about the rest? No one has made money except for Eddie. Okay, Eddie, good job for you. How about the rest? No one? Oh, okay, Wilson or Eunice. Okay, one of you guys, okay, husband and wife, made money from Dow. Very good. Is that all? Okay. All right, so maybe all too shy to share, is it? Winnie also make money from Dow. Excellent. Okay, well done. Okay, so let's see what happened. Now, the Dow Jones yesterday, all right, once it opens, it went down below the opening price. Of course, there was no trigger. Slowly, it went down, touches the KTR -1. So I told you before, if the day chart KSI is red in color, mathematically, the probability of the market hitting KTR -1 below OP is very, very high. And if you had done that, you would have taken profit right here when the market hit the KTR -1. Okay, then after that, it tried to go up sideways, but watch this guy. This is the one again. Look at the BMB. There is a BMB over here, and then it followed by a CCYR. And this CCYR also went below the pivot 2. So by right, it's a sell immediately. And if you have sold down, you will make your money. All right. And the magnitude go down by 1.4. Yeah, it's almost there. Okay, almost hitting the 1.4 mark. But the point is this: there's always, when you see the BMB appearing, and then if it comes with a trigger, usually the probability of making money aftermath is going to be very, very high. And of course, those people who shorted Dow Jones yesterday with me, congratulations to all of you, okay? All right, so that is what happened to the Dow Jones yesterday. All right, now remember this, when you're shorting anything, the day chart KSI tells you that what our lot size should be going for. And of course, if the KSI turn from certain color, example like this green turn to red, that's why you can see more selling coming into the market. Okay, got the idea now? Okay, so let's look at today's market, shall we? Wow, China A50 has continued to go down further. So this is really not very nice. So likely going to take away the chocolate bar over here. All right, this chocolate bar is 17,650. Wait a minute. 17,398. So that means that the market is going to come down to this point here, and that's 17,398. That is the chocolate bar for the white candle. All right, so likely the black bar is going to go after that. Okay, today. And of course, Hong Kong is now trading down, and although the KSI is green in color, but it's trading down. Let's look at the 5-minute chart, shall we? The 5-minute chart shows that Hang Seng has just opened and it came down and hit the KTR -1. So it's not within our script. So there's no color change in between, but very clear, we can see that is another BMB right here. So whenever there's a BMB, I told you guys the high and the low is going to be very interesting. If the market goes below the low, it can go down by another time. If it goes above the high, then you go up by the same distance. Okay, so that's the reason why for today Hang Seng now we shouldn't be doing much, because there's no color change at the moment, and it already hit the KTR -1, so it's kind of good enough for day-to-day trading. Okay. All right, let's look at the Dow Jones for today. Now the Dow Jones today kind of weak right now. Now there's a few things don't take note for. Number one, let me just take this away. Hold on. Let me just redraw everything for you guys. Now, first of all, this is a BMB on the Dow Jones. So that means that we're going to see potential bigger movement to come. So the entire range for this Dow Jones, entire range is about 338.338, okay? So just to do the mathematics here. So this is 338 example. Then if the market goes below the low, which is here, if the market goes below the low, it will go down by another 338. So let's do the right thing here. So the low here itself is 34,185 minus 338. So that means that the Dow Jones can come down to 33,847 approximately, okay? Approximately, all right? So that is the potential downside. And at the moment now, we are like 34,245, right? So it's about almost 500 points away. Now, upside will be the same thing. We take this 338 plus 34525. So 34525 plus 338 we get 34,863. So which means that if the Dow Jones do cross back above the RL of the BMB, the Dow Jones can go up to 34,863. So three numbers are given to you for you to make your own decision on how you want to trade this market. But undeniable, now the Dow is being tested with the MA30. Hopefully stay there and can recover from there itself. Okay. All right. So that is the Dow Jones chart, the Dow Jones chart. Let's look at the Dow Jones weekly chart. Weekly chart shows the signs of weakness at the moment. That's the reason why I told you guys to be very careful on this and leave my line there. Okay, so let's look at today's Dow Jones. Now for today's Dow Jones, it's very clear the opening price is already below the OP mark. Sorry, the opening price is trading below the pivot 2 mark. So below OP, below pivot 2 is a sell. Any CCYR is a sell, and KSI happen to be red. So very good chance today the Dow Jones can come down lower if it's going to have the selling pressure on. So that is what I'm seeing now on the market. Okay. All right. So for the 15-minute chart now, it's just fidgeting around the TSAB level. So if later on there'll be any form of selling, it will likely bring the Dow all the way down to this point here. And that is about 34,168. All right. So that is the pivot, the KTR -1 level, okay, for the Dow Jones. Okay. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ right now. The NASDAQ is now trading below the opening price, but NASDAQ yesterday hit all-time high. So as long as the NASDAQ, yesterday NASDAQ really beautifully, once you touch the MLP, straight away it rebounded beautifully. So that's why the MLP is so powerful. So today's MLP is somewhere around here. So if the NASDAQ touches MLP, it could actually stage a rebound again up for the new all-time high. Now the S&P 500 yesterday also, I told you guys the MLP is somewhere around here, 2276 level, and S&P really touched MLP precisely there and rebounded. So this is again proving to you MLP how powerful it is. Now for the moment now, right, the S&P is now trading below the MLP, and it seems like there is some selling pressure in the market. So the MA30 will be somewhere around here to protect it. So I can say that if there's going to be any crazy amount of selling, then the S&P has to be challenged first, and that is 42.38 level. All right, it means that it's not too far away from the current price right now, about 50 points. It is possible. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so traders, be careful on the S&P 500, and I will look at the chart wise at home. All right, so this is the NASDAQ day chart. NASDAQ day chart is above pivot, it's between the two pivots. So KSI is green. So as long as stay above OP, it will be a relatively buy. Now do not remember there is a cage that we draw, a zebra, sorry, that we draw recently. So we can push it up to for a target level. I think it will be possible to tomorrow. S&P 500 today is also opening prices between two pivot, but the KSI is already red in color. So if the KSI red in color, that means that in general, the market is actually selling. So if the market loses this 42.78, then we should see some serious selling in the S&P 500. Okay. All right. So everybody clear on this? Everybody clear? If everybody clear, please key number 1 right now. So keep you all in the loop so that I can see you guys are not sleeping too. All right. Yeah. All right, please key number 1 right now so that I can know that you guys are still awake and not in the la la land already. Okay, you guys are still around. That's very good. Okay, let's continue. All right. So let's look at DAX, shall we? Now, DAX yesterday has pulled back, and I told you guys, if DAX cannot break above the MLP, DAX will come down, and you look at it, beautiful, right? The market just opened exactly at MLP, initially goes up first, but once it failed, break below MLP, break below the MA30, the DAX go down. All right, so that's the reason why you need to know all these indicators so that you can help yourself to make money from the market. Now today, the MA30 for DAX is somewhere around here, about 15,600. The MLP, okay, the MLP for today is somewhere here about 15,580. So that means that these two range now to be watch out for today, 15,580 to 15,600. These two range, this range will be the key pivotal point. If the market goes above it, then the DAX will be going up. If the DAX stays below the two line, then there will be some more selling downwards, and I suspect that it will come down to this point here because that is a very nice white candle there. This candle opening price is 15,500. So which means that if the DAX goes down further, DAX should be able to come down to 15,500 level. Okay, so that will be the view on how I see DAX at the moment. Now there are questions asking me, Cal, for now, can we short the Dow Jones? Well, I told you Dow Jones today is below OP and below pivot 2, right? Remember? Yeah. So you look at the 15-minute chart, right? There is already one short right here, CCYR. You can already short the Dow Jones, and now it's already coming down. So of course, will the Dow Jones go lower? Well, based on the KTR, minimally, I suspect the Dow Jones will come down to here, and that is 34,168 level. That is where I believe that the Dow could be going down in the next few hours. Yeah, because that is how it is supposed to be. All right, the Dow Jones technicality should be going towards there. Okay. All right, so that is 34,168. Okay, so traders, you can consider doing some trades towards this level here. Okay, a lot of messages coming in asking me about how I see the market overall. And of course, I share with them my personal view, and I suspect that we could see some selling later today. All right, now why do I keep on mentioning that? Because I will show you a chart later on in the second half of the MAO. It actually spells pretty clearly that there could be some profit taking the next few days in the market. So that is my view lah. So if anybody is trading this, the Dow Jones 34,168 should be the level that we should be going for by the time we reach European time. Okay, clear? Okay. All right, so that is the Dow Jones in particular. All right, in terms of where the Dow could be going. And of course, I covered all the indices. We talk about Nikkei right now. Now, Nikkei today on a day chart is also not good. The Nikkei, the opening price is between the two pivot, right? Now, it has went below pivot 2. So below OP, below pivot 2 is a sell. But the only thing is that the KSI happened to be green in color. So the downside is limited to KTR -1 to the most maximum -3. So for Nikkei, if it goes down further, Nikkei can come back down all the way down to this price, 28,411. So it's like 300 points away, right? So I don't think today will happen, but the KCB does show there's a possibility of seeing this happening, okay? All right, take note of that. Huh? Okay, so I have basically covered all the indices. Let's look at the commodities right now, which is gold. Now, gold yesterday was pretty sideways at the beginning, but in the second half, it started to move up, right? So there was some buying. Now, the only thing is this, yesterday we have seen Brazil tree has started, but for some reason, the gold really didn't have any impact. So that is whereby I kind of suspect that, right, the gold may actually be going down further because there's a lot of buying expectation back then. So I kind of suspect that the gold will go down a bit more, okay? Gold price to go down a little bit more. All right, this is how I see the market right now. And of course, there is no much news from gold after that. All right, and there's this particularly interesting part about say that even the gold obsessed Indians are pouring into billions of dollars into crypto. So is it telling me that right, crypto is the new digital gold? Well, I don't think so, but I just believe that gold may have to just come down a bit more before we see any form of buying. Okay. All right, so let's look at what happened to gold yesterday, shall we? Now, gold yesterday it opens between the two pivot, but the KSI has to be red. Hence, therefore, it will be more towards the downside. And truth be told, if you go below the pivot 2, it's actually a sell, which it came down to about $5, but after immediately rebounded. Now, gold has been sideways for basically 6-7 days already. So that means that based on what we have been seeing in the past, this means that there should be bigger movement coming in. It could be a big upside, it could be a big downside. So what do you think, guys? Now, all of you guys are online now, about 77 of you. What do you think? Do you think that gold is going to go up soon or come down soon? Right, let me have your view now, up or down. Please key your answer right now. Let's have at least 20 answers so that we can actually know that you guys are still paying attention. Okay, what's your view, up or down? Big up or big down on gold? Let me see your answer right now. I wait for you. Okay, Judy say up. Michael up. Elson up. Fred up. Elvin up. Wilson down. Kenneth down. Cheng Kui down. Jacqueline up. Kevin down and up. PH is down. Louis down. Andrew down. Kai up. Eddie down, then can buy. Dennis and Jason say down. Now, I already gave you my view, right? I kind of suspect that there could be more downside than upside in my view. Yeah, I think that there'll be some profit taking further as the equity market comes down. I already given you my view before, and I am sticking to it. I believe that will likely be happening in the long haul. For it, after that, once it comes down, hit a nice base, that will be a time for you to look to buy into gold. Yeah, that will be the time to buy into gold. That's how I see it on gold. Okay. Okay, so that is my personal view. Oh, okay. Wow, Richard Yo has given a very, very powerful statistics number. He said that up to 1800 first, then down to 1760. So he already give you a forecast that where the gold will go. All right, thank you, Richard. Everybody has their own reason to see anything, of course. All right, thank you for sharing, Richard. Hoseng say up. Okay, let's take a look and see what happened. Now, okay, so that's a review. Okay, so yesterday gold was pretty choppy at the moment. Once it goes down, you can see the BMB right here. Once the BMB surface, wow, gold plunged immediately down. Then after that, we have the KCX coming in, turn around, CCRY kicks in, pivot to trade. So gold went back up again. But because we all know the KSI happened to be red, so the upside couldn't go past KTR plus 1. And it came back down again. It went down again. This time around, KTR -1 perfectly for 3 times in a row. The market just couldn't go down. KTR -1. Another CCRY kick in, which is the pivot to trade once again. And of course, it's a BMB at the same time. The gold goes back up, back to KTR, back to opening price, and then after went sideways. So you can see that almost every time any big movement, the BMB will always be around. And the BMB is around, the probability of making money from the market seems to be quite pretty clear. Okay, now do later on, I'll be talking about the BMB. Please watch out. That will be very important for the Dow Jones too. Okay, so that was what happened by the end of the day. There were movements, but it just at the end of the day ended flat with no much direction, right? So, let's look at the gold chart today. Now, this is the gold chart for today. I cannot predict like Richard, who can predict that it will go where first, later, then go where. Okay, I'm going to be very upfront. My personal view is for gold, that's below the MA 30. It's also below the MA 200. So it's kind of very clear bearish signal. and the MLP for today is somewhere around 1779. So with that, very clearly, if the gold cannot stay above 1779, I believe that gold will go down all the way to 1761 level, which happened to be the 50% mark. Okay, so which means that I suspect that gold price will go down all the way down to today potential low of 1761 level, which happened to be the 50 percentile level. Okay, so that is my personal view on the gold. All right, my view. All right, so different views. So that is what I'm seeing on gold right now. Okay, for time being. All right, that is the thing for gold. Okay, 1774 right now. 1761 will be the target I'm looking at. Okay, but of course there's a chocolate bar here at 1764. So 1764 look delicious enough. So maybe about 1764 or 1765 to play it safe, you can consider to book some profits and then try to aim at this figure. So maybe those who are short gold, you can aim gold to go down to 1764, 1765 range. Then after that, buy back some position. Then after that, you can look at the final one at 1761. Okay. All right, that is gold. And of course, gold weekly chart doesn't look that well. So if it goes below, there could be more selling for 1762. Now, silver price is really, really strongly resisted by the MA200. So as long as silver cannot cross the MA200, kind of expect the silver to stay downwards. And I still believe that silver may be coming down to $25.38. That is the chocolate bar level here. And that will be a level good enough to come in to buy. So let's see whether, silver will come down to 25.38. Okay. All right, so that is silver price. Let's look at gold today for our TWB indicator. Now, this is still today's gold price. Now, it's very clear we have the opening price that is below between the two pivot 1 and pivot 2. And the KSI is still red in color. And the blue bars are all there. And even KCX has a new one blinking at the moment. But of course, the blinking one, okay, is not the one that we're looking at. We're looking at the one before that. But still, the market tells you that the bearishness in gold is definitely there. That's why you can see that the blue bars are there. The KSI is there. The only thing is that the selling pressure seemingly bottoming out soon, but still is still there. So that's the reason why I kind of suspect that gold price will go down all the way to test pivot 2 first at 1767. Then after that, it may go lower to basically hit this chocolate bar at 1763, 64, 65 level around there. Okay. So gold price today to come down to here is kind of very highly possible because the KSI is red. So you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see that gold price may come down all the way to trigger KTR -1 first, and that's 1770 mark. All right, so this is what I kind of suspect that the gold price will go down to 1770 first because the KSI is red in color. Okay, so that's what I suspect will happen first today. All right, whether they go down to 1763, 64, that is another thing. Okay, guys, cool, clear with this? All right, that's my personal view. All right, let us see later on as the day goes by. Okay, so that is for gold. Now I come to the alternate market views. So if you guys think that you're heard enough, you want to leave right now, you can exit. If you want to hear the alternate market views, I'll come back in 15 seconds time. Okay, cheers. Okay, guys, please do me a favor. Can you give me all the likes and all the love so that you guys, that's why everybody can, see it, right? Because we are all recording this and all our MAOs is going to be uploaded on YouTube. So of course, the more you send in all the emoticons and stuff like that, that will really make the whole recording looks pretty good, right? Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Suddenly all coming already. Thank you. Thank you. I see some of your faces like Sammy. I think there is some from Winnie, is it? Or is it someone else? Thank you so much. Wow, this is so nice. Wilson, I saw yours also. Some of the things that go back. Eric, I think. Wow, okay, so many. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, right, so let's just wrap it up with this alternate market views this morning. All right, now this is going to be very interesting, so you need to really pay attention to details. Let's start, okay? Now the thing is this, yesterday I thought about the market breadth and I get deeper for you. Now this is basically showing from Bloomberg, okay, Bloomberg terminal. As Bloomberg pointed out, right, the S&P 500 pushed to record highs, but it hinges on two few constituents. So, and which means that, right, the S&P is going up, yes, indeed, but the counters that's pushing it up itself is not the 500 of them. In fact, it's a very couple of them. This is like the FANGs counters. Okay, now the FANG counters basically take up about 25 to 28% of the entire S&P 500. So that is the reason why traders must be very careful, because all along for the last few months, when the S&P goes up, right, you can see the market breadth is pretty positive. Now, what happened is that there's something you must take note here. When S&P was basically climbing up back then, okay, take a look here. When S&P was climbing up over here, all right, the market breadth was actually not following. Then when the market loses the so-called the trend, the S&P came down rather fast. And it came down like almost like 300 points. Okay, 300 points. 300 points, loosely translated, right, is about 2,500 points of the Dow Jones, around there, okay? Roughly around there, okay? Then, of course, what happened later on when the Dow S&P bottomed out, right, and recover, the so-called market breadth came in a little bit. But what is crazy is when S&P go to new high, right, the market breadth continued to drop. And when that happened itself, right, the S&P fell again by about 200 points, okay? But now it's even scarier is that now the S&P is at the new all-time high again. Wow, the market breadth is really all the way down in a very drastic manner. Of course, at the moment now, there's some recovery, like I said, but overall itself, right, is definitely pointing downwards and the S&P is at high. So it cannot deny this, that it's a possibility that the S&P will drop by another 200 points from today's price. So now the S&P is trading at about 42.82, right? So I cannot suspect that the S&P may drop to 40, 50 level or 80 level, 40, 80 level in the coming weeks. So of course, I'm just giving you what I'm seeing right from the chart. So if the S&P really drop, right, there is a possibility to see a 4080 S&P level. All right, that's the reason why some of the traders will notice that, right, some of the shorts that we are engaging, we are all aiming at one particular number, and that number is 4119 level, because that happened to be one of the chocolate bar level, 4119. So now with the S&P at 4282, we suspect that we could see it coming down to 4119 level. Okay, so that is the first thing that I want to share with you with regards to the S&P versus the breadth. Okay, all right, this is from Bloomberg terminal, so that's why you don't really see in much of the mainstream media. Okay, now the second thing I'll show with you is this one here. The money losing companies have flooded the secondary market. Now you can see that whenever that over the last how many years? Last 40 years, okay, last 40 years, when the net amount of secondary or add-on share offering from profitable to versus the non-profitable companies, right, you can see when the unprofitable companies are increasing, or I mean, in short, they are basically from profitable losing their profit margins, right, coming down, the S&P 500 will basically come off quite significantly. The last time when we see something like this, we saw the S&P was about 1,600 to be to be around there. It dropped all the way down to about 800. Wow, that means it lost by 50%, no? 50%. Then after that, we have seen the same thing again back in 2008, whereby from profitable to non-profitable, the S&P dropped by about from this point here. So it dropped about, let's say, maybe from 1,400. It has dropped to probably about 800. So it dropped by also about 600 points. All right, about 600 points. So the question is this, wow, look at it. We are now definitely way, way lower to the really non-profitable percentage point and even going negative, yet our S&P is still surging. So basically, right, this is actually very, very scary because this is a data compiled by Bloomberg, okay, by Bloomberg, right? It's not at any other place. And of course, it's very clear that this is going to be a big problem. So that's why I kind of suspect that, right, we should see at least, we talked about 800 points or 600 points. I think 200 points is pretty safe, okay? So that's the reason why I suspect the S&P 500 will go down to about 4119 level, all right? So that is another thing to watch out for. So seriously, if the companies are not doing well, how can the S&P be doing well? So that's the reason why it doesn't make any sense. And of course, it seems to be very clear that all this pumping of dollars into the system is not going to be helpful. And if they continue to do that, right, eventually this will go and end ugly. So that's the reason why I suspect that this coming August, during Jackson Hole, most likely Federal Reserve will say, okay, enough has enough. We have pumped the market high enough. Let's have a pullback. And this pullback is going to be drastic and market may be shocked. Okay, go into shock mode. Then after that, when if the thing gets too heavy selling, then maybe they will come back in again and say, look, let's stop this again and let's come back to pumping more dollar. And that's the reason why I said in the second half or the third quarter or the fourth quarter of the year this year, then gold price will be heading towards the 2218 level. Okay, now this is from Northern Trader. Again, once again, this is where the VIX indicator in the weekly chart. All right, of course, this is the VIX versus S&P. That's why you can see the numbers in percentage form, okay, in decimal form. So this is the below S&P 500. It seems to be every time when the VIX slash S&P chart, right, is at 0.003 level, right? Every time when this happens, all right, the S&P will drop by quite a bit of downside, right? So if you think that this chart looks sense, that means that we should see some selling pretty soon these few days, okay? So I kind of suspect that we should see some selling these few days on the market. And this is the one, you can take a look. This is very incredible. Now, we all know that the Federal Reserve have already given the go-ahead for the banks to do more share buyback. Now, the last time when this happened was the law last October, right? Yeah, it's just Volcker rule. They already have Volcker rule, and immediately the financial market went in to buy their shares. That was what happened last October. But now you can see that despite the rules have been uplifted, right? The thing is this, the weekly flows, outflows, okay, the largest weekly of outflow from financial has really went down quite a lot. Okay, meaning that, went up a lot. So which means that there are a lot of outflows going in. Right, this is the weekly flows, okay? So what's happening right now, this is outflow. And if you look at this, now look at the timing, this December 2018, March 2020, we know that, and June 2021. So what I did was I basically I draw the chart for you. And if you look carefully, right, December 2018, after that, you can see the Dow Jones. This is a weekly chart, right? Let me just write for you in numbers to make it easier for you. All right. Now, do note the dotted line are the BMBs of the weekly chart. BMB, a weekly chart. I'll come to that later. Now, that means at the time when this happened, the Dow Jones was trading about 24,000. And after that, it went all the way down to this point here. And that's about maybe 22,000 level. So the Dow went down by at least 2,000 points in just 3 weeks, okay? Then after that, another incident in March 2020. So let's take about here. So that time the Dow Jones was trading about 22,000. And of course, it was a pandemic time. The Dow went down to a low of 18,000. All right, so that is another very big drastic sell-off in just 2 weeks. So the question is this now, we are here. Now, the reason why I want you to talk about this, I want you to take a look at this, is the BMB chart, whereby you see if there's any BMB on the weekly chart, right, this is the range. Normally, if it goes down, it will come down easily by 1/4. So the last time when this happened, this is the range, and it did come down by 1/4. You can get my point? So now what actually is happening right now, we do have a BMB at this very moment, and this is the BMB range of the weekly chart, and which means that if the market do come down according to what we are seeing, the Dow Jones S&P down by 200 points, or based on BMB of the BMB weekly chart, right? That means that it's a very high possibility that we could see 31,473 traded based on the BMB weekly chart range. This is the reason why I want you guys to stay on screen, because if you believe in what you're seeing right now, you can see that it works vice versa. If it's going to be upside, right? If the market is a BMB in the weekly chart, it will still go up by the 1/4, right? So you can see, yeah. So this weekly chart seems to be very powerful, and also the BMB seem to be very pretty useful, right? So if there's no new BMB, then that means the Dow Jones, if it goes down below 33,283, because that is the BMB SL level. If it goes down below 33,283, then it will go down to the potential of 31,473. Okay, so all this tells you that this is the potential of where the Dow can go and stuff. Of course, if the market finds strength and recovers above 35,092, then it is possible to see a new all-time high, and a new all-time high is 36,902 level. Okay, so these are the the weekly chart, the two big numbers, 36,902 and 31,473 level. All right, so guys, all clear on this? If everybody clear, please key the word clear right now so that you understand where am I sharing. And you can see that every time I will always share great new stuff with all of you so that you guys can really benefit of this. All right, if you like this sharing, please key the word clear so that I know that you guys are enjoying this. Okay, all right. Now this is basically combining fundamentals, technicals, and charts, patterns, everything combined together to show you the TWB BMB chart itself. Pretty clear, right? Okay, so all these are given to you. I hope you guys will be able to use it to your advantage and make loads of money from the market. Okay, all right. Till then, again, this is the end of today's MAO. I hope that you guys enjoy this. This is a very great session. I believe that you will know what to do with gold, silver, and the Dow Jones. All right. Okay. All the best for trading today. Remember, 2 p.m. we will have our this Super Tuesday. Then 3 p.m. Susan go live. Okay. All right. That means that today no afternoon MAO. Yeah. That means don't have this afternoon. Don't have afternoon MAO. Okay, guys. Enjoy yourself. See you later in a couple of hours. Bye bye.